Let's begin by offering our respects to ISKCON founder Acharya and our preeminent Shiksha Guru, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jai.
Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Itti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpataruvyaschа Kripa Sindhuvya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Om
Bhagavate
Namo
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Om Namo
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Om Namo
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Okay, we welcome all of you to our online weekly Krishna book classes. We have with us here Shailesh Latkar, Karuna, Joli Nandwani. My husband is there. We have Kamala Nandini Mataji, Ritu Lalwani, Sheetal Latkar, Shantaram Latkar, Aja, Romi, Meenakshi, Divina, Priyanka Jha, Shri Radha, Dipti Adnani, Swapna Latkar, Vivansh, Shreya Kalaria, and N.C. Venkatchari. Okay. So what did we see in the previous class?
We saw how the gem took the lives of Satyajit and his oppressor, matlab the person who tried to kill him. uh, it took both their lives.
Okay.
So, and we also saw that after that his life was taken, Satyajit's life was taken, and the his killer's life was always taken. Then the people were thinking that the Akrura's missing from being missing from Dwarka was causing pestilences. But that was just a way of Krishna to invite Akrura back into Dwarka and to show his relatives that he was holding the gem. Yeah,
Okay. So the last thing we know about the gem is that it is with
Akrura.
Akrura. Yes. Very nice. So how many wives does Krishna have now?
Two.
Two, right? Rukmini and Jambavati and Satyabhama, three.
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 Yes. Three. Krishna has married three wives. Very nice. Okay. Today we will see Krishna marrying five more
Five more.
in today's chapter. Yes. So today, by the mercy of Sri Guru and Sri Krishna, we will be seeing chapter 58 of Krishna book titled Five Queens Married by Krishna. As mentioned in the last chapter, there was a great rumor that the five Pandava brothers, along with their mother Kunti, had died, according to the plan of the sons of Dhritarashtra, in a fire accident in the house of Lak in which they were living. But then the five brothers were detected at the marriage ceremony of Draupadi. So another rumor spread that the Pandavas and their mother were not dead. It was a rumor, but actually it was so. They returned to their capital city Hastinapur and people saw them face to face. When this news was carried to Krishna and Balaram, Krishna wanted to see them personally and therefore he decided to go to Hastinapur. Okay, so before we can proceed any further, we need to understand the sequence of events that has happened uh, in Hastinapur whilst these events of the Shyamantaka jewel were happening in Dwarka. We need to understand what was going on in Hastinapur. So as we see here in the beginning of this chapter, how the five Pandava brothers, they had actually escaped the plan of Duryodhan, uh, and they had escaped that house of wax, no. And there were others who were there were other five brothers and their mother who actually perished in that fire, and they were mistaken to be the five Pandavas and Queen Kunti. But actually, it was not them. It was there were some tribal people who were there in that house under the influence of alcohol. So therefore, they did not exit that house that night, and therefore they perished in the fire, along with the architect of that house. Actually, he also perished in that fire. So what has happened after the Pandavas escaped from that wax house? Where did they go?
They
Is it
went and they went to the Swayamvar of Draupadi, and then Arjun wins that competition, and then he gets married to Draupadi,
okay? So where are
and
they living at that time?
Hiding right there in the forest? No?
Yeah, they were living in the forest, no, because when they escaped from the Lac house, they went to live in the forest, and that's when they disguised themselves as Brahmins, and they are living in a
Brahmanas.
town, no, and they take the shelter of another family, and that's when Bhim kills one demon when they are living in that
Yes.
village. Who? Anybody remembers the name of the demon?
Hidimb.
Rodkajan?
Yeah,
That's the son.
Yeah. And one more. Because they were staying in the house of one family at that time when they took shelter, not when they're in the forest. They went and took shelter in the house of a family. In that village, Bhim did a favor. They returned the favor by killing one demon who was terrorizing the entire village. His name starts with a B.
B. B. Bakasura. Bakasur.
Yes, Bakasur, no?
Uh,
So Bhim had killed Bakasur, who has terrorized the village. And after that, Arjun, he wins the Swayamvar of Draupadi. So actually, when Arjuna won the Swayamvar of Draupadi, was he dressed as Arjun, as a Kshatriya?
No, as a Brahmin.
Ah, he was
no.
dressed as a Brahmin, no? And after that, their being the Pandavas being alive came to be known. Only after that, it was revealed to even King Drupada, the father of Draupadi, that actually your son-in-law is not a Brahmin, but he is the great archer Arjuna. And after this, the Kauravas, when they heard that the Pandavas are alive, and now they are even more stronger because of their strong political alliance with Drupad, no? So they have formed a strong political alliance there. So there is panic among some of the Kauravas. And Dhritarashtra, he considered the situation, and what he did was, upon the advice of the elders like Vidura and Drona and Bhishma, he invites the uh, Pandavas back to Hastinapur. And then what does Dhritarashtra do at that time? What's the solution Dhritarashtra gives them for the
They give a
conflict?
He
small
becomes
kingdom, right? Small plea. Is that
He gives them he splits the kingdom and he says, okay, I'm going to split the kingdom. You can take
but
Khandavprasth and the Kauravas can stay with Hastinapur. No?
but first he makes Yudhishthir the Yuvraj, right?
No, 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 no. He just tells them, you go to Khandavprasth and you rule Khandavprasth. He doesn't crown Yudhishthir as the prince. Prince of what? Prince of Khandavprasth.
No, Hastinapur. He becomes the Yuvraj of Hastinapur first, and then there is disputes with Duryodhan, and then it comes to such a point wherein they decide that they have to to divide the kingdom into Hastinapur and Khandaprast.
Okay, I'm not sure if actually Yudhishthir was crowned as the prince of Hastinapur. I'm going to have to read up that section. I'm not too sure about that to comment on it. But anyway, eventually the kingdom was split and the Pandavas got Khandaprast. So actually, what is Khandaprast?
Khandaprast is barren land.
It is a barren land, correct. And a huge part of that Khandaprast was a forest called
Yes.
Khanda forest, isn't it? But does Yudhishthir accept it then, although he's only given a barren land in the name of splitting the kingdom?
Yes.
Yes, he accepts it, and actually they work hard on that barren land and they make that region fertile. And then again, with the help of Lord Krishna and the celestial architect Vishwakarma, now that
Okay.
barren land has been converted into a glorious city of Indraprasth. Then
Indraprasth.
it becomes Indraprasth, the glorious Indraprasth. It was given the name Indraprasth because it was as opulent and it can equal the opulence of heaven, of which Indra is the king. So therefore, then this Indraprasth is create the glorious city of Indraprasth is created. So in this paragraph, see here when it is said, now where does Krishna go to meet them? In Hastinapur, no?
Hastinapur.
But if you read the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is explained that Krishna went to meet them in Indraprasth. So one may say Srimad Bhagavatam says Indraprasth and Krishna book says Hastinapur. So it appears to be a contradiction. So whenever we see in the Shastra something that appears to be a contradiction, we should always remember that both are correct. Both are correct. Now, how it is correct is what we should try to understand. In case you see such so-called contradictions, then always understand that both are correct. How it is correct is what we have to understand. Now, in this case, in this particular seeming contradiction, how do we understand is actually when Krishna went to meet the Pandavas, Indraprasth was not yet Indraprasth. They only have got the barren land because after Krishna went to visit the Pandavas only with the help of Krishna, then that barren land became the glorious Indraprasth. So at that time, still Hastinapur is the capital of the Kuru kingdom, and because they are the same family, and it has just been divided, so administrative charges and taking care and those things, there can be an overlapping still. And still at that time, Hastinapur is the capital of the Kuru dynasty. Just as how actually, even if you refer to the Pandavas as Kauravas, it is not wrong. Why? Because the name Kauravas comes because they belong to the ancestor called King Kuru. So Pandavas also have that ancestor Kuru, and so do the Kauravas. No, but because they were not getting along, therefore the Pandavas are now referred to as Pandavas or the sons of King Pandu. But actually, it's the same lineage. Actually, it's the same lineage.
It's the same Kuru, right?
Yes, same Kuru. So therefore, such terms can be interchangeably used. Sometimes people can go into specifics, that is also correct. And sometimes a generic statement can be made, that is also correct. Okay. So just for us to understand, technically they have gone to Indraprasth. But I'm sorry, technically Krishna has gone to Indraprasth, but that Indraprasth is not yet the glorious Indraprasth. That happened later. Okay, let's continue now. This time, Krishna visited Hastinapur in state as a royal prince, accompanied by his commander-in-chief Yuyudhana and by many other soldiers. He had not actually been invited to visit the city, yet he went to see the Pandavas out of his affection for his great devotees. He visited the Pandavas without warning, and all of them got up from their respective seats as soon as they saw him. Krishna is called Mukunda because as soon as one comes in constant touch with Krishna or sees him in full Krishna consciousness, one immediately becomes freed from all material anxieties. Not only that, but one is immediately blessed with all spiritual bliss. So actually Pandavas, they have gone through many difficulties, no? So from their childhood only, there have been so many attempts to kill them. Even when Bhim was a child, he was given poison. And now they have just escaped the lakh house. They've been living in the forest. So they are going through many difficulties, no? But when they see Krishna, then they feel enlivened. They are free from all anxieties. That's the impact of seeing Krishna. Receiving Krishna, the Pandavas were enlivened, just as if awakened from unconsciousness or loss of life. When a man is lying unconscious, his senses and the different parts of his body are inactive. But when he regains his consciousness, the senses immediately become active. Similarly, the Pandavas received Krishna as if they had just regained their consciousness, and so they were very much enlivened. Lord Krishna embraced every one of them, and by the touch of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Pandavas immediately became freed from all reactions of material contamination, and were therefore smiling in spiritual bliss. By seeing the face of Lord Krishna, everyone was transcendently satisfied. Lord Krishna, although the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was playing the part of an ordinary human being, and thus he immediately touched the feet of Yudhishthir and Bhim because they were his two older cousins. Arjuna embraced Krishna as a friend of the same age, whereas the two younger brothers, namely Nakula and Sahadev, touched the lotus feet of Krishna to show him respect. After an exchange of greetings according to the social etiquette befitting the position of the Pandavas and Lord Krishna, Krishna was offered an exalted seat. When he was comfortably seated, the newly married Draupadi, young and very beautiful in her natural feminine gracefulness, came before Lord Krishna to offer her respectful greetings. The Yadavas who accompanied Krishna to Hastinapur were also very respectfully received. Specifically, Satyaki or Yuyudhana was also offered a nice seat. In this way, when everyone else was properly seated, the five brothers took their seats near Lord Krishna. So, who is Satyaki?
Came with Krishna, right?
Duryodhana is the commander-in-chief of the forces of the.
Okay, so what role did he play in the war?
So he was fighting on side of the Pandavas.
He was fighting on side of the Pandavas. Okay, and also and did he survive the war, by the way?
Yes.
Yes, he had survived the war. He had also accompanied Krishna for his other important missions. For example, when Krishna went to Hastinapur for his peace mission, where he offered that, okay, give the Pandavas just 5 villages and there would be no war. No, at that time, when he went for that peace mission also, Satyaki had accompanied Krishna. So when Krishna showed that universal form in the court of Dhritarashtra, that time Satyaki also was present. And at that time, as soon as Duryodhan ordered that Krishna should be captured, immediately Satyaki was ready with his weapons. No, but of course, then Krishna showed the universal form. So Satyaki was a very, very close associate of Krishna. He was a Yadava warrior, and he also belonged to the Yadava clan. He was a student of also Arjuna. He had picked up some very, very valuable lessons on archery, on war from Arjuna. Okay. Yeah, Shailesh, you have your hand raised?
Now, I just wanted to clarify that Satyaki is Yuyudhana.
Yes, that's another name of his.
Acha. And the other thing that was the Yadavas are supposed to be superior to all the other people, right? I mean, I was surprised that Satyaki was a student of Arjun.
See, seniority, superiority doesn't come because of some caste system or by birth. It only comes by spiritual advancement. So if one is spiritually advanced, then one is considered to be high class. If one has no interest in spirituality, then that person is considered to be a melecha or a low caste, low class, like that. So he himself is he is also a devotee. He is very, very devoted to Krishna. In fact, how do we know that? Is because when Krishna decided to be neutral in the war, he said he will not fight. No. See, at that time, because Pandavas and Kauravas, they are belonging to the same family, same lineage, their relatives, the Yadavas, they decided to be neutral. Many of them decided to be neutral in the war. And in fact, Balaram, he went on a pilgrimage. And Krishna said, I will also be neutral, but his neutrality was in the sense that he will not fight, but he will act as a counselor. So he gave the choice to Arjuna. What do you want? He gave the first choice to Arjuna because he saw Arjuna first. Both Duryodhana and Arjuna went to Krishna to seek help because they are both the same family. They are equally related to Krishna. But Krishna gave Arjuna the first choice, and Arjuna was very happy to receive the kingdom. So that time, what Krishna said is that, okay, so one side is me, but I will not use any weapons. On the other side is my entire Nayarani Sena. So at that time, his entire army went and fought on the side of the Kauravas, and also some of the Yadava warriors also, they went and fought on the side of the Kauravas because of what Krishna had said. But Satyaki was that warrior who, even at that time, he made a personal choice that I want to fight on the side of where Krishna is fighting. So he's a very, very advanced devotee.
Satyaki came with Krishna, right? Or is already in Hastinapur?
He has come to Hastinapur along with Krishna when he has come to meet Pandavas. Yes.
So he is from Dwarka, right?
Yeah, he lives in Dwarka.
Okay.
After meeting with the five brothers, Lord Krishna personally went to meet Srimati Kunti Devi, the mother of the Pandavas, who was also Krishna's paternal aunt. In offering his respects to his aunt, Krishna also touched her feet. Kunti's eyes became wet, and in great love, she feelingly embraced Lord Krishna. She then inquired from him about the well being of her paternal family members, her brother Vasudev, his wives, and other members of the family. Similarly, Krishna also inquired from his aunt about the welfare of the Pandava family. Although Kunti Devi was related to Krishna by family ties, she knew immediately after meeting him that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. She remembered the past calamities of her life and how, by the grace of Krishna, she and her sons, the Pandavas, had been saved. She knew perfectly well that without Krishna's grace, no one could have saved them from the fire accident designed by the sons of Dhritarashtra. In a choked up voice, she began to narrate before Krishna the history of their life.
Mataji,
Yashya, you have your hand raised?
I just wanted to share how beautiful this picture is, like it's a very good use of AI.
AI, exactly, no? So nothing is good or bad. It's how we use it that determines whether it is good or bad. Very nice. Yeah, Aja, you were saying something?
Mataji, I don't know how to explain this. When we were discussing about Krishna only, all the people associated with this Halila, they are always with him, right? Even in even in Goloka, everywhere, right? And when this is happening somewhere else in the universe, Mahabharat. So this Kunti Devi is also included. One of them, these Pandavas, everyone is always associated with Krishna.
Yeah, not everyone, but many of them are eternal associates of Krishna. Some of them later they become eternal associates of Krishna in the sense that, see, Srila Prabhupada explains that before we go to the spiritual world, we go to a planet where Krishna is personally performing his leelas, pastimes, and then we proceed to Goloka. So, like that, when one is in that planet where Krishna is doing his pastimes and one is part of the pastimes, after that one can become an eternal associate of Krishna. So, some are already eternal associates, some of them become eternal associates, like that.
So Kunti Devi is also eternal associate. Could be because father's sister, right?
Yeah, but I don't have Shastric evidence as of
Okay.
now, but it's
Okay.
very probable. Okay. Srimati Kunti said, My dear Krishna, I remember the day when you sent my brother Akrura to gather information about us. This means that you always remember us automatically. When you sent Akrura, I could understood that there was no possibility of our being put in danger. All good fortune in our life began when you sent Akrura to us. Since then, I have been convinced that we are not without protection. We may be put into various types of dangerous conditions by our family members, the Kurus, but I am confident that you remember us and always keep us safe and sound. Even ordinary devotees who simply think of you are always immune to all kinds of material danger. And what to speak of ourselves who are personally remembered by you. So, my dear Krishna, there is no question of bad luck. We are always in an auspicious position because of your grace. Yet, although you have bestowed a special favor on us, people should not mistakenly think that you are partial to some and inattentive to others. You make no such distinction. No one is your favorite and no one is your enemy. So Kunti Devi here, she's saying that, oh Krishna, you are completely impartial. It's not that Krishna is playing favorites. So she's saying that you don't make any distinction. No one is your favorite and no one is your enemy. Krishna is the well-wisher of all the living entities. As the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you are equal to everyone, and everyone can take advantage of your special protection. The fact is that although you are equal to everyone, you are especially inclined to the devotees who always think of you. The devotees are related to you by ties of love. As such, they cannot forget you even for a moment. You are present in everyone's heart, but because the devotees always remember you, you respond accordingly. Although a mother has affection for all her children, she takes special care of the one who is fully dependent. I know certainly, my dear Krishna, that I know certainly, my dear Krishna, that being seated in everyone's heart, you always create auspicious situations for your unalloyed devotees. So this is how actually Krishna reciprocates, not only to Kunti, not only to the Pandavas, but every one of his devotees. Now, Krishna, wherever there is Krishna, there is all auspiciousness. There is no question of any inauspiciousness. Even the law of karma is overwritten by Krishna for his devotees. So there is no question of inauspiciousness where Krishna is present. And Krishna does not have to be personally present how he is present there in Kunti Devi's house or in Hastinapur in front of the Pandavas. Even in his Archa Vigraha form, Krishna is present. That Archa Vigraha is not different from Krishna. Krishna reciprocates even when we worship him in the Archa Vigraha form, in the Murti form. Okay, now let's read this line. You are equal to everyone. You are especially inclined to the devotees. So it appears to be a contradictory statement because first half she is saying you are equal to everyone. Then in the second half of the line, she's saying you are especially inclined to the devotees. So what is Krishna partial or Krishna is not partial?
Krishna sees who needs more help.
Yes,
Independent.
yes. But then if he's equal to everyone, then why is he especially inclined to the devotees? So that means he's partial to the devotees, is it not?
So he is neutral to everybody, but favorable to the devotees.
So he is partial and as well as impartial.
Yes.
So
It's
how to
not
understand
exactly
that?
part.
He's not impartial, but
Partial.
when he sees that, some devotee really needs, for some reason, he inclines a little more there, right?
So he is partial.
So it's basically something like if you take one step towards me, I'll take 10 steps towards you. So
Yes.
something.
Yes, exactly. So he is giving that opportunity to everyone to take those steps towards Krishna. So Krishna is not saying only my devotees can take steps towards me, right? Krishna has given the opportunity to everyone to become his devotee. So in that sense, he is impartial. But once you take those steps towards Krishna, then Krishna is partial. So Krishna is impartially partial. He is an equal opportunity employer. He's giving the opportunity to everyone. Yes, come and become my devotee. Come and bind me. Come and capture me. No? So that way he is impartial. So Krishna is impartially partial. This is how we understand this. See, this is the verse from the 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. What's the title of the 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita? Who can say?
It's an important one, right?
Is
Yes.
it the confidential knowledge?
Yes, the
confidential
most
knowledge.
confidential knowledge. That's the title of chapter 9. So here Krishna is saying that I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all. But whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him. So this is also the same thing. Now, previously how we discussed the first two lines of the shloka, Krishna is saying that I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone, I am equal to all. But immediately in the second two lines of the shloka, Krishna says, but whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him. So again, it may appear that Krishna is contradicting himself. Initially, he says he's impartial, then he's saying that he's partial. So, how to understand? By understanding that Krishna is impartially partial. He's giving the opportunity to everyone. Yes, come and become my devotee and take advantage of my disposition towards my devotees, like that. Then King Yudhishthir also praised Krishna as the supreme personality and universal friend of everyone. But because Krishna was taking special care of the Pandavas, King Yudhishthir said, my dear Krishna, we do not know what sort of pious activities we have executed in our past lives that have made you so kind and gracious to us. We know very well that the great mystics who always engage in meditation to capture you do not find it easy to obtain such grace, nor can they draw any personal attention from you. I cannot understand why you are so kind to us. We are not yogis. On the contrary, we are attached to material contaminations. We are householders dealing in politics, worldly affairs. I do not know why you are so kind to us. So see, Yudhishthir, let's look at his nature. No, they have gone through so much of hardship. They have been again there was an attempt to assassinate them. They have been wandering in the forest, belonging to a royal family, belonging to the family of the king. In spite of that, they have been wandering in the forest and living the life of Brahmins, begging for food from door to door. But he is not blaming Krishna. He is not telling Krishna, why me? Why did you do this to us? What did we do to deserve this? No, why didn't you come and help us? He's not accusing Krishna of anything, but he's saying that you are very, very kind and gracious to us. So this is how a devotee thinks. Instead of asking, why me? No. Being requested by King Yudhishthir, Krishna agreed to stay in Hastinapur for 4 months during the rainy season. The 4 months of the rainy season are called Chaturmasya. During this period, the generally itinerant preachers and brahmanas stop at a certain place and live under rigid regulative principles. Although Lord Krishna is above all regulative principles, he agreed to stay at Hastinapur out of affection for the Pandavas. Taking this opportunity of Krishna's residence in Hastinapur, all the citizens of the city got the privilege of seeing him now and then, and thus they merged into transcendental bliss simply by seeing Lord Krishna face to face. So, Chaturmasya season, the very famous 4 months of Chaturmasya is when there is a lot of rain, and the sadhus and the saintly people, when they during this Chaturmasya season, they stay in one place. Otherwise, they are always traveling and preaching. But during this Chaturmasya, they stay in one particular place, no, during this rainy season. And right now, we are in the first month of Chaturmasya. The Chaturmasya period ends. The 4th month of Chaturmasya is when we have the month of Kartik, or the month of Damodar. Currently, we are in the first month of Chaturmasya, when Lord Vishnu goes into sleep. One day, while Krishna was staying with the Pandavas, he and Arjuna prepared themselves to go to the forest to hunt. Both of them sat down on Arjuna's chariot, which flew a flag with a picture of Hanuman. Arjuna's special chariot is always marked with the picture of Hanuman, and therefore he is also named Kapi Dhwaja. Kapi means Hanuman and Dhwaja means flag. Thus Arjuna prepared to go to the forest with his bow and infallible arrows. He dressed himself with suitable protective garments, for he was to practice for the time when he would be killing many enemies on the battlefield. He specifically entered that part of the forest where there were many tigers, deer, and various other animals. The reason Krishna went with Arjuna was not to practice animal killing, for he doesn't have to practice anything. He is self-sufficient. He accompanied Arjuna to see how he was practicing, because in the future he would have to kill many enemies. After entering the forest, Arjuna killed many tigers, boars, bison, gavayas, a kind of wild animal, rhinoceros, deer, hares, porcupines, and similar other animals, which he pierced with his arrows. Some of the dead animals that were fit to be offered in sacrifices were carried by servants and sent to King Yudhishthira. The ferocious animals such as tigers and rhinoceroses were killed only to stop disturbances in the forest. Since there are many sages and saintly persons who are residents of the forest, it is the duty of the Kshatriya kings to keep even the forest in a peaceful condition for living. So the reason why Kshatriyas are allowed to hunt is this, because saintly people are practicing austerities, tapasya, and the forest should be free from wild animals. Therefore, the Kshatriyas are allowed to hunt to maintain peace and give security, or give protection to those saintly people who are doing tapasya in the forest. Arjuna felt tired and thirsty from hunting, and therefore he went to the bank of the Yamuna along with Krishna. When both the Krishnas, namely Krishna and Arjuna, reached the bank of the Yamuna, Arjuna is sometimes called Krishna, as is Draupadi. They washed their hands, feet, and mouths and drank the clear water of the Yamuna. While resting and drinking water, they saw a beautiful girl of marriageable age walking alone on the bank of the Yamuna. Krishna asked his friend Arjuna to go forward and ask the girl who she was. By the order of Krishna, Arjuna immediately approached the girl, who was very beautiful. She had an attractive body, nice glittering teeth, and a smiling face. Arjuna inquired, "My dear girl, you are so beautiful with your raised breasts. May I ask you who you are? We are surprised to see you loitering here alone. What is your purpose in coming here? We can guess only that you are searching after a suitable husband. If you don't mind, you can disclose your purpose. I shall try to satisfy you." So Arjuna has approached this girl upon the instruction of Krishna. The beautiful girl was River Yamuna personified. She replied, Sir, I am the daughter of the sun god, and I am now performing penance and austerity to have Lord Vishnu as my husband. I think he is the supreme person and just suitable to become my husband. I disclose my desire thus because you wanted to know it. Yeah, Shreya, you have your hand raised?
So in the previous slide, why would Arjuna address like that, that my dear girl, you are so beautiful with your raised breast. Like, I don't know. I mean, like if you, in this time, if you say something like this, I don't know if it is appropriate, like that.
Yeah,
So-
but see, we have to understand this, that this was something that happened millions of years ago, and every yuga has a different mindset, a different thought process. And obviously, this was acceptable because she did not she did not protest to what he said. She didn't think it was indecent. In fact, she has replied to his inquiry, right? So every yuga has a different thought process.
Okay. Good.
The girl continued, My dear sir, I know that you are the hero, Arjuna. So I may further say that I shall not accept anyone as my husband besides Lord Vishnu, because he is the only protector of all living entities and the bestower of liberation for all the conditioned souls. I shall be thankful unto you if you pray to Lord Vishnu to be pleased with me. The girl Yamuna knew it well that Arjuna was a great devotee of Lord Krishna, and that if he would pray, Krishna would never deny his request. To approach Krishna directly may sometimes be futile, but to approach Krishna through his devotee is sure to be successful. So see, this is the power, potency of a devotee of the Lord. Because Krishna, if you approach him directly, he may or may not grant your desire. But if you go through his devotee, then because Krishna loves his devotee so much, he will sanction the desire of the devotee. Therefore, we approach Krishna through the bona fide spiritual master. We may have so many faults, we may not be able to qualify ourselves to enter the spiritual world. But if the spiritual master recommends to Krishna, okay, here is this nice person, very sincere, and please accept him at your lotus feet, then Krishna will agree. So the spiritual master can take you to the spiritual world through the back door. No, Srila Prabhupada said, okay, you catch hold of my. See, there was this pastime of Srila Prabhupada. He was giving a class and he said, if you are 100% Krishna conscious, then Krishna will take you. So he saw that in the crowd, people were worried, no? Like, how can we be 100% Krishna conscious? Then Srila Prabhupada reduced the number. I'm not sure from 100 he went to which number, but he went to 90, 80, something like that. And then some of them were feeling happy, but still there was one person who was not very happy, no? And then he was accompanying Srila Prabhupada as, after he ended the lecture, Srila Prabhupada was climbing up the staircase and he was going behind Srila Prabhupada and he was still looking worried. So Srila Prabhupada asked him, what happened? So he said, I'm not too sure if I can even be that person Krishna conscious. The number that he mentioned in the end, I don't remember the number correctly. So then Srila Prabhupada said, okay, you just catch hold of the corner of my dhoti and I shall take you. So this is the power of a devotee. Even if we are not qualified, if we try sincerely, we not attain perfection, but still Krishna will take us if the spiritual master recommends. She further told Krishna, my name is Kalindi and I live within the waters of the Yamuna. My father was kind enough to construct a special house for me within the waters of the Yamuna, and I have vowed to remain in the water as long as I cannot find Lord Krishna. Arjuna duly carried the message of the girl Kalindi to Krishna, although Krishna, as the super soul in everyone's heart, knew everything. Without further discussion, Krishna immediately accepted Kalindi and asked her to sit down on the chariot when all of them approached King Yudhishthir. So this is Krishna's fourth wife, Kalindi. So she is actually none other than the river Yamuna personified. So Krishna has already performed so many pastimes in the waters of the river Yamuna. And now he is marrying Kalindi, who is the personified form of the river Yamuna. She is the daughter of which god?
Surya, sun,
Surya, yes. And who's her famous brother?
Yamraj.
Yamaraj, yes. Very good. After this, Krishna was asked by King Yudhishthir to help in constructing a suitable house to be planned by the great architect Vishwakarma, the celestial engineer in the heavenly kingdom. Krishna immediately called for Vishwakarma and made him construct a wonderful city according to the desire of King Yudhishthira. When this city was constructed, Maharaj Yudhishthir requested Krishna to live with him a few days more to give them the pleasure of his association. Lord Krishna accepted the request of Maharaj Yudhishthir and remained there for many days more. So here Vishwakarma, the celestial architect, he has now created this beautiful city, which is then later called as Indraprasth. What other things has Vishwakarma designed?
Dwarka.
Dwarka, yes. What else?
Jagannath temple.
Jagannath, the deities of Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra were carved
Yeah,
personally by Vishwakarma. No? So very,
Vishwakarma.
very important role he has played for the Vaishnavas. Okay. In the meantime, Krishna engaged in the pastime of offering the Khandava forest, which belonged to King Indra. Krishna wanted to give it to Agni, the fire god. The Khanda forest contained many varieties of drugs, and Agni required to eat them for rejuvenation. Agni, however, did not touch the Khanda forest directly, but requested Krishna to help him. Agni knew that Krishna was very much pleased with him because he had formally given him the Sudarshan disc. So, in order to satisfy Agni, Krishna became the chariot driver of Arjuna, and both went to Khanda forest. After Agni had eaten up the Khanda forest, he was very much pleased. At this time, he offered Arjuna a special bow known as Gandiv, 4 white horses, 1 chariot, and an invincible quiver with 2 special arrows considered to be talismans, which had so much power that no warrior could counteract them. So, what is this incident of the Khanda forest? In this forest, there are many varieties of drugs, and Agni wanted to consume those drugs because there was a king who had performed a yagya. And in that yagya, he had offered huge, enormous amounts of ghee in that yagya. So Agni Dev, he has consumed all those huge amounts of ghee, and now he is feeling sick. And now, to cure him of that sickness, he wants to consume these drugs which are in the Khandava forest. But in that Khandava forest, there were some demons who were living, and Indra, King Indra, was giving those demons protection. And therefore, every time Agni tried to consume the forest, Indra would send down rain, and then he was not able to consume the forest. So therefore, now Agni Dev, he requested Krishna and Arjuna that allow me to consume this forest. And then what Arjuna did was he covered the entire forest with a huge network of arrows, so that the rain cannot put off the fire. And like that, this Khanda forest was burned down, or rather, Agni consumed that particular forest. And then Agni was very pleased, and therefore he offered these items. See, as it says here, after Agni had eaten up the Khanda forest, he was very much pleased. At this time, he offered Arjuna a special bow known as Gandiv. So this is how Arjuna gets his Gandiv. Just by twanging the string of the bow, it would create such a thunderous sound effect that everybody, all the living entities in the forest, they would get very scared just by the twanging of the bow of Gandhi. That was such a powerful bow. 4 white horses. What name of Arjuna means that his chariot is drawn by 4 white horses? We saw that name before in this chapter. Who remembers?
Ashwa something, Ashwa.
Yeah, Shweta Vahana. We saw that name somewhere here before. Anyways, so what is so special about these 4 white horses?
They're powerful.
And defeat them.
They never touch the ground.
No, that was Yudhishthir's chariot that never touched the ground.
They're very fast, I think.
Yeah, they could run at the speed of the mind. They were very fast and they could go in all directions and they could go to any planetary system. They can go to upper planetary system, middle planetary system, and also lower planetary systems. So this is the speciality about these four horses. And an invincible quiver with two special arrows. So this quiver was something that would not get exhausted. No, the arrows would never run out from those quivers that he got from Agni Dev. Okay. When the Khanda forest was being devoured by the fire god Agni, there was a demon of the name Maya who was saved by Arjuna from the devastating fire. For this reason, that former demon became a great friend of Arjuna, and in order to please Arjuna, he constructed a nice assembly house within the city constructed by Vishwakarma. This assembly house had some corners so puzzling that when Duryodhan came to visit this house, he was misdirected, accepting water as land and land as water. Duryodhan was thus insulted by the opulence of the Pandavas and he became their determined enemy. So, in that forest, there was a demon by the name Maya, and he took shelter of Arjuna. And because he took shelter of Arjuna, Arjuna saved him from that fire. And then, in return, to express his gratitude, he has created this very, very fantastic, puzzling assembly hall for the Pandavas. And it's in that assembly hall that Duryodhan he mistook water for land, and when he placed his foot on what he thought was land, he slipped and he went into the waters. So actually Duryodhan became very, very envious, seeing that how the Pandavas are flourishing even after they have got only a barren land. No, Khandapras in the name of a kingdom. Yeah, Shailesh, you have your hand raised.
Does this Maya participate in Mahabharata?
No, I have not read that. He participated in a war. After a few days, Lord Krishna took permission from King Yudhishthir to return to Dwarka. When he got permission, he returned to his country accompanied by Satyaki, the leader of the Yadus, who were living in Hastinapur with him. Kalindi also returned with Krishna to Dwarka. After returning, Krishna consulted many learned astrologers to find the suitable moment at which to marry Kalindi, and then he married her with great pomp. This marriage ceremony gave much pleasure to the relatives of both parties, and all of them enjoyed the great occasion. The kings of Avantipura, now known as Ujjain, were named Vindhya and Anuvindhya. Both kings were under the control of Duryodhan. They had one sister named Mitravinda, who was very qualified, learned, and elegant girl, the daughter of one of Krishna's aunts. She was to select her husband in an assembly of princes, but she strongly desired to have Krishna as her husband. During the assembly for selecting her husband, Krishna was present and he forcibly carried away Mitravinda in the presence of all the other royal princes. Being unable to resist Krishna, the princes were left simply looking at one another. So, what has actually happened in Avantipura, Ujjain before this incident? When did we read about this particular place?
Andipani Muni, no, is where Krishna went.
Yes, the Gurukul of Sandipani Muni. So, here Krishna has actually studied, no? He has studied here in this particular city. And Mitravinda is the daughter of Mitravinda, the daughter
Kings, right?
of who?
King of
Yeah,
Avantipura.
India.
King of Avantipura.
No, they are, see, the kings of Avantipura were named Vindhya and Anuvindhya. Both kings were under the control of Duryodhan. They had one sister named
Okay.
Mitravinda. But she is the daughter of, so these two are actually her brothers.
She's the daughter of one of Krishna's aunts.
See, the text says here, no? She's the daughter of one of Krishna's aunts. So, Vasudev had another sister, and that sister's daughter was Mitravinda. Now, she always wanted to have Krishna as her husband, but her brothers, Vindhya and Anuvindhya, they are under the control of Duryodhan. They have a friendship with Duryodhan, and therefore they don't want their sister, to marry Mitravinda. So actually there is a Swayamvar, but in that Swayamvar she is not allowed to choose Krishna. So Swayamvar means the bride is allowed to choose her groom. Swayam means my own and Var means groom. So she is allowed to choose her groom. But in this case, her brothers were not allowing it, and she wanted to have Krishna as a husband. So Krishna comes there, and he forcibly carried Mitravinda in the presence of all other royal princesses. See here in the Gopal Champu, it's very, very interesting. Because one can ask that she has never seen Krishna, but there is a connection here of Ujjain. One connection is Ujjain, because she is staying in Ujjain and Krishna studied in Ujjain. And another connection is that he is also related to her. He is her cousin, actually, no? Her mother's brother's son, Krishna is. So here in Gopal Champu, we get to understand this connection. The bards sing thus. He defeated the two brothers. So of course this he refers to Krishna. He defeated the two brothers who opposed his marriage to Mitravinda, and similarly defeated the enemy kings, since they had similar powers of Veera, courage. The sage Bharata defines perseverance, Utsaha, as the manifestation of strength in offering oneself to a lover, or manifestation of strength to defeat the enemy. Nanda said with embarrassment. So these the messengers, they are coming to Nanda Maharaj to Vrindavan, and they are narrating whatever is happening with Krishna, right? So this again, a messenger is narrating this to Nanda Maharaj. So Nanda Maharaj is saying with embarrassment, the custom of the Yadus is not to marry a close relative. Krishna did so because he considered his Gotra to be different, a cowherd. So one may question, how come they are marrying their first cousins, no? So here we see how Krishna is considering that his Gotra is different, that he belongs to a cowherd community. So therefore there is nothing wrong in marrying Mitravinda. The messenger said, it was not right for her to marry anyone else, though her friends advised her that it was not proper to have attraction for Krishna. On seeing him, she became strongly attached to him as her only goal. The women gave instruction in joy. He is your uncle's son and is like a cloud. Her moon face then turned red in anger like the sun. Everyone said, since she was in the inner chambers of the palace of Avanti, how did she manage to see Krishna? Because she was in the inner chambers of the palace, and Krishna has actually studied in the Gurukul. So how did she manage to see Krishna? The messenger said, Uddhava has fully described this to us. Previously, Krishna and Balaram had gone secretly to Avanti to study, but they did not tell you since they feared you would worry. By dedicated service to Guru, in 64 days, they learned the 14 types of knowledge and the 64 arts. They made their Guru happy by bringing back their dead son, killing the Panchajana demon, and subduing Yamaraj. In doing such difficult actions for others, they moved the hearts of compassionate people. Understanding who they were, Rajadi Devi brought them to her house and welcomed them as guests with affection. So who is this Rajadi Devi? She is the mother of Mitravinda, or she is the aunt of Krishna. So Krishna's aunt has invited Krishna and Balaram to her house, and that's when Mitravinda has seen Krishna and she got attracted to him. So this is the backstory. Coming back to Krishna book. After this incident, Krishna married the daughter of the king of Koshala. The king of Koshala province was called Nagnajit. He was very pious and was a follower of the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies. His most beautiful daughter was named Satya. Sometimes Satya was called Nagnajiti, for she was the daughter of King Nagnajit. King Nagnajit wanted to give the hand of his daughter to any prince who could defeat 7 very strong, stalwart bulls maintained by him. No one in the princely order could defeat the 7 bulls, and therefore no one could claim the hand of Satya. The 7 bulls were very strong, and they could hardly bear even the smell of any prince. Many princes visited this kingdom and tried to subdue the bulls, but instead of controlling them, they themselves were defeated. So, this king, Naknajit, his condition was that one who can subdue these 7 bulls, only that person will be able to marry my daughter. What's the daughter's name?
Satya.
Satya
Satya.
or
Yeah.
Nagnajiti.
Yeah. So now, see, Krishna's first wife's name is, let's see again. Krishna's
Rukmani.
first wife is,
Rukmani.
after that he married,
Jambavati.
Satyabhama.
after that Jambavati. After that, no,
Satyabhama.
yeah,
Satyabhama.
yes, Jambavati, then Satyabhama. After that,
Satyabhama. Kalindi.
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 Kali-
After that,
Satya.
No,
no,
not Satya.
Mitravinda.
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 Yes. So this is going to be Krishna's 6th wife, Satya. Okay, 6th wife. Okay. Let's see. This news spread all over the country, and when Krishna heard that one could achieve the girl Satya only by defeating the 7 bulls, he prepared himself to go to the kingdom of Koshala. With many soldiers, he approached that part of the country known as Ayodhya, making a regular state visit. When it became known to the king of Koshala that Krishna had come to ask the hand of his daughter, he was very much pleased. With great respect and pomp, he welcomed Krishna to the kingdom. When Krishna approached him, he offered the Lord a suitable sitting place and articles for reception. Everything appeared very elegant. Krishna also offered him respectful obeisances, thinking him to be his future father-in-law. When Satya understood that Krishna himself had come to marry her, she was very much pleased that the husband of the goddess of fortune had so kindly come there to accept her. For a long time, she had cherished the idea of marrying Krishna and was following the principles of austerities to obtain her desired husband. She then began to think, if I have performed any pious activities to the best of my ability, and if I have sincerely thought all along to have Krishna as my husband, then Krishna may be pleased to fulfill my long cherished desire. She began to offer prayers to Krishna mentally, thinking, I do not know how the Supreme Personality of Godhead can be pleased with me. He is the Master and Lord of everyone. Even the Goddess of Fortune, whose place is next to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, and many other demigods of different planets always offer their respectful obeisances unto the Lord. The Lord also sometimes descends to this earth in different incarnations to fulfill the desire of his devotees. He is so exalted and great that I do not know how to satisfy him. She thought that the Supreme Personality of Godhead could be pleased only out of his own causeless mercy upon the devotee. Therefore, there was no means to please him. So even Satya has been doing austerities so that she can have Krishna as her husband. Lord Chaitanya, in the same way, prayed in his Shikshastaka verses, My Lord, I am your eternal servant. Somehow or other, I have fallen into this material existence. If you kindly pick me up and fix me as an atom of dust at your lotus feet, it will be a great favor to your eternal servant. The Lord can be pleased only by humble attitude in the service spirit. The more we render service unto the Lord under the direction of the spiritual master, the more we make advancement on the path approaching the Lord. We cannot demand any grace or mercy from the Lord because of our service rendered to him. He may accept or not accept our service, but the only means to satisfy the Lord is through the service attitude and nothing else. The only way, if you want to please Krishna, if you want to know Krishna, if you want to obtain Krishna, this is the key, through service attitude. So Lord Chaitanya also, he prays in his Shikshastakam prayers like this. That I am your eternal servant. Somehow I have fallen into this material existence. If you can kindly pick me up and fix me as an atom of dust as to your lotus feet, it will be a great favor to your eternal servant. So one cannot demand that you must do this. God is not our order carrier. We can only request. There's nothing that Krishna has to do. No, he can choose to do whatever he wants to do. So, of course, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than Krishna himself. But he shows, he's playing the role of a devotee. So, he's showing us how we should love God. He's in the mood of a devotee. King Nagnajit was a pious king, and having Lord Krishna in his palace, he began to worship him to the best of his knowledge and ability. He presented himself before the Lord thus: My dear Lord, you are the proprietor of the whole cosmic manifestation, and you are Narayan, the resting place of all living creatures. You are self-sufficient and pleased with your personal opulences. So how can I offer you anything? How could I please you by such an offering? It is not possible because I am an insignificant living being. Actually, I have no ability to render any service unto you. What does this name Narayan mean?
He's the proprietor
The
of all
resting place
existence.
of all the entities.
Exactly, the resting place of all living creatures. The meaning is given here itself. Nar means living entities and Ayana means resting place. No. So Narayan means the resting place of all the living entities or living creatures. Krishna is the super soul of all living creatures, so he could understand the mind of Satya. He was also very much pleased with the respectful worship of the king in offering him a sitting place, eatables, a residence, and so on. He was appreciative, therefore, that both the girl and her father were eager to have him as their intimate relative. He smiled and in a grave voice said, my dear King Nagnajit, you know very well that anyone in the princely order who is regular in his position will never ask anything from anyone, however exalted he may be. Such request by a Kshatriya king would have such requests by a Kshatriya king have been deliberately forbidden by the learned Vedic followers. If a Kshatriya breaks this regulation, his action is condemned by learned scholars. But in spite of this rigid regulative principle, I am asking you for the hand of your beautiful daughter just to establish our relationship in return for your great reception of me. You may also be pleased to be informed that in our family tradition, there is no scope for our offering anything in exchange for accepting your daughter. We cannot pay any price you may impose for delivering her. In other words, Krishna wanted the hand of Satya from the king without fulfilling the condition of defeating the seven bulls. So Krishna does not want to defeat those seven bulls in order to marry Satya. Why? What's the problem?
There is no problem. He's just testing his resolve.
He's testing his resolve to.
Yes. Because he is a devotee, so he is testing.
Okay, but by him insisting that he defeats the seven bulls, does that make him a devotee?
Can you repeat that?
See, King Nagnajit has a condition. He says that whoever can defeat or subdue the seven bulls will be qualified to marry my daughter. Krishna is saying, I will marry your daughter because Satya wants him as her husband. Even King Nagnajit wants Krishna as his son-in-law. And he's also been very respectful to Krishna. But Krishna is saying, I will not subdue the seven bulls to marry your daughter. The question is why? What is the problem?
Because even king is not letting that condition go for Krishna. So then he's like, let me test him like this. Like if you are not ready to give up the condition when your daughter is marrying the Lord, then why I should follow this condition. Maybe like that.
Yes, very nice. Now, why to put down a condition When already the daughter has given the heart to Krishna and the father also is willing to get the daughter married to Krishna, then why should there be a condition? Why should there be a so-called transaction? No. Therefore, Krishna is saying no. See here, Krishna also, he himself says, what does Krishna say here? In our family tradition, there is no scope of our offering anything in exchange for accepting your daughter. So, no, what's his name? Nagnajit is putting this condition as though it's like is a transaction. No, see, it's like a price being paid. So he's saying we cannot pay any price for you. We cannot pay any price you may impose for delivering her. So he's saying that this is like a transaction, like we are paying a price and therefore we are marrying. But no, it's a mutual agreement out of love and affection. Krishna is saying, out of love and affection, I'm asking for your daughter's hand. She also wants to marry me. You also are ready. So why should this transaction take place? Why should I pay a price for it? So therefore, Krishna is saying that I'm not willing to defeat the 7 bulls. Yeah, Shreya?
And Draupadi's Swayamvar was also like, and I think in that time, like the Swayamvar of their daughters was like that, you fulfill this condition and you get married. So how can we understand then?
Yeah, so you're right. It has happened in the case of Draupadi's Swayamvar also. There was a condition. What was the condition? That anyone who can see the reflection of the fish in the water and shoot the fish that was rotating above, that person will be listening. So actually that condition was to find a suitable groom for Draupadi. See, there are different kinds of Swayamvar. In one Swayamvar, there may not be such conditions, and the girl is just allowed to choose whomever she wants as a husband. But in this case, there was this condition. In the case of Draupadi, see, it's a special occasion here because when Draupadi was born, that time itself, her father was informed that your daughter will marry Arjuna. Okay. And when the lac house incident happened, everybody thought that the Pandavas have been killed. So now Drupada is like, the Pandavas have been killed, Arjuna is no more, but the prediction was that my daughter will marry Arjuna. So therefore he put this condition, thinking that, and in this condition, what will happen? If at all the Pandavas are alive, then they will appear. They will come in front like that. No, so that was the condition. That was the reason why Drupada had that condition in the Swayamvar.
But it was a norm, right? Like Swayamvars, whenever they took place, they have to fulfill this condition, even
No,
like in
not always. Not always. It's not
Swayamvar was
always like that.
the same, right?
It's not always like that. Sita also had a Swayamvar and there was a condition, right? Now that condition is for what? In order to find a suitable groom for Sita. Because that bow, see the condition in that in Sita Swayamvar was whoever can string the bow of Lord Shiva will be suitable to marry Sita. Why Janak Maharaj had that condition was because when Sita was a small child, she played with the bow like a completely effortlessly, no. But these great warriors in the Swayamvar, they were not able to even move that bow even an inch. So Janak Maharaj is thinking, my daughter, if she can lift the bow and play with it like a toy, then the person who's marrying her at least should be able to string that powerful bow. So otherwise anybody else will not be a suitable match for my daughter. So in that Swayamvar, this condition was to be able to find someone who can match Sita. So it's not necessary always that all the Swayamvars there was a condition. It was not like that. There was a reason. So in this case, Krishna is saying it's not necessary because anyway, it's a mutual agreement. Now everybody is agreeing that they should marry like that. Therefore, Krishna is saying that he doesn't want to pay a price. He doesn't want to make a transaction. Okay. See, Gopal Champu. Let's read. When her father saw, so Gopal Champu is written by Sri Jiva Goswami. When her father saw that she was attracted to Krishna, joy overtook his heart. But he had an enemy in the form of his brother's son named Brihadbala. So this was the problem for Satya's father, Nagnajit. that his brother's son Brihadbala was against this marriage. At the insistence of friends combined with strong armies, the king could not do as he wanted. After much thinking, he concluded as follows: an action must be found for which no Kshatriya has the power and by which skill from practice cannot succeed, but which Govinda, who is endowed with all powers and who was enthroned by the Devatas, headed by Indra and Surabhi, can perform. The opportunity should be found in simultaneously tying up 7 bulls raised with joy, which cannot be moved by anyone, which have the nature of great demons, which cannot tolerate the smell of heroes, which are filled with anger, and which possess unconquerable power. So this condition was put down by King Nagnajit because actually his brother's son did not want that Satya is married to Krishna. So therefore the king comes up with this condition that, okay, we are going to have 7 bulls who will be able to and a person who wants to marry my daughter should be able to subdue these 7 bulls. And he knew that none other than Krishna will be able to achieve this task. So this was the king's way to ensure that his daughter is eventually married to Krishna. And also he will be dealing with a situation where his brother's son is not in favor of that marriage by putting up this condition. So this was the circumstance at that time. So later, Lord Krishna, he actually sends a message to King Nagnajit. The message says, "O king, what you have decided is something of Indra's capacity. Your desire to give your daughter to the person who can bind the bulls out of a desire for finding the strongest person is only a pretext." So he's saying that this is only a pretext, it's only an excuse that you have put up, that only the person who will defeat the bulls will be able to marry your daughter. This is not an agreement for Kshatriya Dharma to give in exchange for a tax. I ask for your daughter out of affection, as one asks a boon from a devata. I do not desire to pay the tax. So Krishna is saying, I don't want to make it a transaction. It's like paying a tax. No, it is a bond which is made out of affection. So therefore Krishna said no. But then what happens? Let's see. After hearing the statement of Lord Krishna, King Nagnajit said, "My dear Lord, you are the reservoir of all pleasure, all opulences, and all qualities. The goddess of fortune, Lakshmi ji, always lives on your chest. Under these circumstances, who can be a better husband for my daughter? Both my daughter and I have always prayed for this opportunity. You are the chief of the Yadu dynasty. You may kindly know that from the very beginning, I have made a vow to marry my daughter to a suitable candidate, one who has come out victorious in the test I have devised. I have imposed this test just to understand the prowess and position of my intended son-in-law. You, Lord Krishna, are the chief of all heroes. I am sure you will be able to bring these 7 bulls under control without any difficulty. Until now, they have never been subdued by any prince. Anyone who has attempted to bring them under control has simply had his limbs broken." So here, Nagnajit is explaining to Krishna that how he has made a vow from the very beginning that whoever is going to be able to subdue the bulls is a suitable candidate. So it's something similar to how Janak Maharaj wanted. No? Janak Maharaj wanted to see someone who's suitable to marry Sita. In the same way, he has put this condition to see who is suitable enough to marry his daughter. So he's saying that this is not like a tax or a price, no, but this was his condition to find a suitable groom for Krishna. King Nagnajit continued his request. "Krishna, if you'll kindly bridle the 7 bulls and bring them under control, then undoubtedly you will be selected as the desired husband of my daughter Satya." After hearing the statement, Krishna could understand that the king did not want to break his vow. Thus, in order to fulfill his desire, he tightened his belt and prepared to fight with the bulls. He immediately divided himself into 7 Krishnas, and each one of them immediately caught hold of a bull and bridled its nose, thus bringing it under control as if it were a plaything. So Krishna understood that, okay, now Nagnajit has already made this vow, and for a Kshatriya, it's very, very important. Kshatriyas, for them, it's very, very important to fulfill their vows. No? So Krishna then agrees to do what Nagnajit said. And how does he do it? He expands himself into 7 Krishnas. Now, why did he expand himself into 7 Krishnas? Not that one single Krishna cannot control all the 7 bulls. It's not for that. There is a reason why he expanded himself into 7. Let's see. Krishna's dividing himself into 7 is very significant. It was known to Satya that Krishna had already married many other wives, but still she was attracted to Krishna. In order to encourage her, Krishna immediately expanded himself into 7. The purport is that Krishna is one, but he has unlimited forms of expansions. He married many thousands of wives, but this does not mean that while he was with one wife, the others were bereft of his association. Krishna could associate with each and every wife by his expansions. So in order to encourage Satya, to show Satya that me having many wives does not mean that you have to wait for your turn, that I can expand myself, no. So in order to encourage Satya, therefore he expanded himself into 7 Krishnas. When Krishna brought the bulls under his control by bridling their noses, their strength and pride were immediately smashed. The name and fame which the bulls had attained was thus vanquished. When Krishna had the bulls bridled, he pulled them strongly, just as a child pulls a toy wooden bull. Upon seeing this advantage of Krishna, King Nagnajit became very much astonished and immediately with great pleasure brought his daughter Satya before Krishna and handed her over to him. Krishna also immediately accepted Satya as his wife. Then there was a marriage ceremony with great pomp. The queens of King Nagnajit were also very much pleased because their daughter Satya got Krishna as a husband. Since the king and queens were very much pleased on this auspicious occasion, there was a celebration all over the city in honor of the marriage. Everywhere were heard the sounds of the conch shell and kettle drum and various other vibrations of music and song. The learned Brahmana showered their blessings upon the newly married couple. In jubilation, all the inhabitants of the city dressed themselves with colorful garments and ornaments. King Nagnajit was so much pleased that he gave a dowry to his daughter and son-in-law as follows. First of all, he gave them 10,000 cows and 3,000 well-dressed young maidservants ornamented up to their necks. This system of dowry is still current in India, especially for Kshatriya princes. When a Kshatriya prince is married, at least a dozen maidservants of similar age are given along with the bride. After giving the cows and maidservants, the king enriched the dowry by giving 9,000 elephants and 100 times more chariots than elephants. This means that he gave 900,000 chariots and he gave 100 times more horses than chariots, or 90 million horses, and 100 times more men servants than horses. Royal princes maintained such men servants and maid servants with all provisions as if they were their own children or family members. After giving this dowry, the king of Koshala province bade his daughter and great son-in-law be seated on a chariot and allowed them to go to their homes, guarded by a division of well-equipped soldiers. As they traveled fast to their new home, the king's heart was enlivened with affection for them. Before this marriage of Satya with Krishna, there had been many competitive engagements with the bulls of Nagnajit, and many other princes of the Yadu dynasty and of other dynasties as well had tried to win the hand of Satya. When the frustrated princes of the other dynasties heard that Krishna was successful in getting the hand of Satya by subduing the bulls, naturally they became envious. While Krishna was traveling to Dwaraka, all the frustrated and defeated princes encircled him and began to shower their arrows on their bridal party. When they attacked Krishna's party and shot arrows like incessant torrents of rain, Arjuna, the best friend of Krishna, took charge of the challenge, and he alone very easily drove them off to please his great friend Krishna on the occasion of his marriage. Arjuna immediately took up his bow Gandiv and chased away all the princes, exactly as a lion drives away all small animals simply by chasing them. Arjuna drove away all the princes without killing even one of them. After this, the chief of the Yadu dynasty, Lord Krishna, along with his newly married wife and the huge dowry, entered the city of Dwarka with great pomp. Krishna then lived there with his wife very peacefully. Besides Kunti Devi, Krishna had another paternal aunt. Her name was Shrutakirti, and she was married and lived in Kekeya province. She had a daughter whose name was Bhadra. Bhadra wanted to marry Krishna, and her brother handed her over to him unconditionally. Krishna accepted her as his bona fide wife. Thereafter, Krishna married a daughter of the king of Madras province. This Madras is not Madras of Chennai. This is actually the Madra province in the northwest of India. Her name was Lakshmana, and she had all good qualities. She was also forcibly married by Krishna, who took her in the same way that Garuda snatched the jar of nectar from the hands of the demigods. Krishna kidnapped this girl in the presence of many other princes in the assembly of her Swayamvara. The Swayamvara is a ceremony in which the bride can select her own husband from an assembly of many princes. So after Satya, Krishna has married Bhadra, who was also his aunt's daughter, Vasudev's sister's daughter, and after that he has married the daughter of the king of Madra, and her name is Lakshmana from her Swayamvar, because she wanted to have Krishna as her husband. The description of Krishna's marriage with the 5 girls mentioned in this chapter is not sufficient. He had many other thousands of wives besides them. Krishna accepted the other thousands of wives after killing a demon called Bhaumasura. All these thousands of girls were placed captive in the palace of Bhaumasura, and Krishna released them and married them. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 58th chapter of Krishna, 5 queens married by Krishna. So this particular pastime of Krishna marrying thousands of wives after killing a demon named Bhaumasura is described in detail in the next chapter, which we will see in the next class if Krishna so sanctions. Bhaumasura's other name is also called as, he's also called as Narakasura. So that we will see in detail in the next class. On that note, by the mercy of Sri Guru and Sri Krishna, we come to the end of today's presentation. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Do we have any questions or comments? Okay, so since there are no questions or comments, we will end here because there is no exam today. So I'll see you all next week. If Krishna so sanctions, till then, have a nice weekend. Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna. Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Finally.